Hi everyone, this is Luther and Maranda here. Today we wanted to talk to you guys about something that's actually very dear to us, something very special on our heart, which is marriage.
Marriage.
Yes, we are very passionate about marriage. We love marriage. We love what it stands for, what it represents. And a lot of the reason we care for it that much is because we came from broken marriages.
Yes, we're both divorcees, so have had a long history of bad choices and bad relationships.
And more bad choices.
Lots of immaturity. But on the other side, when we got married, we had to work really hard, and we knew this going in, that because we had failed marriages before, we were going to have to work extra hard to have a good marriage, and we were both very determined.
Yes.
And it was a good thing, because the first year of our marriage, we almost didn't make it. It was pretty rough. No, it was her fault. It's always the woman's fault. Look in the Bible. I'm pretty sure it's in there. Anyway.
Dork.
Anyway, but no, we had to work really hard, and so we had to be very intentional to do some things and to make our marriage solid. And a lot of times we talk about leadership. The foundation of leadership, or you have to have a good foundation to be a leader. Let me put it that way. And one of the foundations is marriage.
Yeah, it's your home.
Yeah, it is.
People try to say, I'm not a leader. No, you are a leader. You're a leader in your home. That's where your leadership starts, is in your home. And so even if you think, well, I just work in a factory, I'm not a leader. No, you're a leader. You're a leader in your home. And how well you lead your home, how well you lead your family, and you lead your marriage is going to determine how far you go in life.
Yeah. Yeah. You think about team sports, right? You've got all the players, and you got the coach, and you got a group of people that have to work together to win. A family is really no different. You're a team, even if it's just you and your wife or you and your spouse, you are a team. And if you guys can't work together, your team is not going to win.
No.
So.
And it's not always perfect. Life's not always easy.
No.
I mean, you're always going to go through hard stuff. You can't let that break you down and stop and make you want to give up and quit, or you've got to push through those hard times, and that's actually where it does create a deeper bond. It creates more intimacy. I mean, we can look back now, and we look back at all the things that we've gone through, even in the last, we're going on 10 years. In the 10 years of our marriage, we've gone through a lot. And those things can either make you or they break you. Like it says, it's, they'll make you or they break you. You hear the saying. But what doesn't break you will make you stronger. And we can stand back and say, we know we are a lot stronger today than when we first got together.
For sure.
We worked in the beginning because we knew we did the first marriage. We knew we did it wrong. So we went and got marriage training. We were taught ourselves skills on how to effectively communicate and effectively talk, and really how to value our marriage. Because as a mom, this is kind of something I've struggled with, and I'm sure some of you moms can relate. As a mom, if you're not careful, you'll put your kids in place of your husband.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that actually one more time. If you're not careful, you'll put your kids in the place of your husband. And it's kind of a scary place. I've been there. I've caught myself. He's actually had to talk to me. One of our marriage conferences, I remember, it was actually a topic you brought up.
That was a sticking point. I don't know. If you guys take some time after this video and check out, we've got, what was the title? What did we title that one? Something one ring. It was the testimony about how I lost my wedding ring and how God used that situation to expose some things that I was harboring in my heart. And the root issue was I had felt that she had put the kids in front of me. And I carried that for 3 years. So it was a 3-year offense because I'm kind of hard-headed.
He carried that. Not me, he did.
You did.
But I've carried stuff that I shouldn't have had, though, too, over the years. So God has had to humble us plenty of times to repent. A big thing I struggled with was really learning to partner with my husband, to believe in my husband. There was a season where I believed more in my church than I believed in this man. And it was scary because this is the man God gave me, or this is the man I chose. Either way, he's the man that is in my life. And it was hard. It was hard for me to believe. And there's still some times where I'm just like, I'm not sure, but my obedience is to God. My obedience, I can't question, I can't doubt. You have to have obedience, and you can't even reluctantly obey. You have to go all in and obey. And learning to go all in with him and really partner with him in life, it didn't come natural and it did not come easy. But I've learned that in order for us to go into our future, that's it. There's no other option but to go in and believe.
Yeah. And that brings up a good point that, while you had to partner with me as a man, I had to get to the place where I was worth partnering with, It's not just about, you can't put everything on the wife and say, well, you're not partnering with me, you're not following my lead, and shift all the blame onto her. What are you doing as a man? What are you doing? I'm speaking to the men now. What are you doing to make sure you're worth following? I see, I've said it before, I see so much immaturity in men these days. And not that I've got it all together, but my first marriage failed primarily because of immaturity. I worked just enough to satisfy my own needs and desires. I didn't care about the rest of the household. I didn't clean up after myself. I spent more time playing video games and paying attention to my wife. And it led to divorce. And it was a painful experience. And it opened my eyes that I wasn't being a man. I was being a little boy who had a live-in mommy that, I was content to let take care of me. Well, nobody wants to sign up for that, and it doesn't last.
No.
So now I have to pick up after myself.
The best thing that, during that season he did is he took a mirror. He realized his marriage failed, and he took a mirror and he started to look at himself.
Yes.
So as you guys are watching this video, you might be having the thought of, my husband needs to watch this, or my wife needs to watch this. I'm going to stop you with that thought, because first of all, you can only change you. You are only responsible for you. So if you put this in front of your husband or your wife and say, watch this, you're actually going to put a wedge between you and your husband. So don't do that. Because I used to take that approach, and that's how I know. You don't want to go that route. That's not how you do it. If you want to see change in your marriage, the very first thing you do, this is the number one, hold a mirror up and look at yourself. And say, God, what do I need to change? What is in me? You can't control anyone. You can't even control your children. But you can control how you respond. You can control what you say. No, we're not perfect. And many of times I have to come back and I have to apologize. I'm like, I lost it. Sorry again, guys, because we're just not perfect. But you have to take a mirror and you have to look at yourself. And your environment will literally change as you change. As you become aware of you, your environment will change. And that was the season I went through where I got to a point in my life I started to gain a lot of weight, and it was really tough for me because I did not feel good about myself. I didn't feel valuable. So I had to get to a place where I said enough was enough, and I wanted to lose that weight. And I didn't put that off on anybody else. I took that responsibility. It was my fault. I was where I was at because of my choices. And I didn't have the resources. Mainly, I didn't have the discipline, because we can try to say we don't have the resources. Fact is, we all know what's good to eat and what's not good to eat. I wasn't valuing myself. I was not valuing my home, my children, my life enough to take care of me. Reality is you need to take care of you, because you do have family, you have children, you have a spouse, you have people that love you, and you have to take care of you. So hold the mirror up and say, what is it in me that I need to change? Where are my weaknesses? We all have weaknesses. And so it's key to find that in you.
Yeah, that's the mirror analogy. That's a very good point. I spent a lot of time after I was divorced looking and examining at myself, because there was nobody else around. It was just me. I got abandoned. I got left alone. So I had to focus on myself, because I said, I don't want to repeat this. I don't want to do this over again. I mean, that was probably one of the worst experiences of my life, and I couldn't go down that road again. So I had to focus on myself. And it's, it was physical. I started working out and exercising. Part of that was selfish, because, I wanted to attract a hottie, so I had to beat myself up a little bit.
But when you marry, the standards you marry at is a standard you're supposed to maintain. I didn't know that. I lost control of myself. He lost control of himself, because we're just doing life. And all of a sudden, we're not as close as we used to be.
Yeah.
Something began to happen.
Yeah.
And until we started to really address, wait a minute, we've lost some things, we've had to gain it back. Anyways.
But anyway, just, so I took care of myself physically. I started reading books and watching videos on marriage and things like that, just so I could approach the new relationship on a better footing than previous. And it caused me really to grow up a lot. I really had to grow up a lot. For a handful of years, I had to sustain myself, and nobody was going to do my laundry if I didn't do it. Nobody's going to clean my house if I didn't do it. I just couldn't.
He had a clean house too, cleaner than mine, anyways.
It was cleaner than hers.
But he's helped me now.
It's a whole thing between us now.
Now I keep my house clean. I actually started it for him. It wasn't natural for me. I knew. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, this is good.
I knew to honor him, he liked a clean house, and it was not easy. It was not easy for me to keep a clean house. Actually, we were dating. On the weekends, he would come over and help me clean my house. I still remember that. He would help me clean my house, clean my shower. Yeah, it was crazy. But after we got married, I started to notice when he'd come home from work, he would be frustrated and stuff. And he told me, he said, when I come home, when the environment is clean, it helps me to relax. And I was like, huh. So I naturally started to say, okay, Dad's going to be home in an hour. Let's get the house clean. Come on, guys, let's pick this house up. I knew he was going to be home, and I knew he needed that downtime. And so we would clean the house and get it picked up.